Imagine stepping into a career where you get paid to learn the trade, and you walk away with zero student loans. In the Tennessee IBEW Electrician Apprenticeship, you are looking at earning over $150,000 in wages alone just during your training years. But you cannot simply walk into a union hall on a Friday and start wiring commercial buildings on a Monday. The pipeline to secure one of these spots is incredibly competitive. While traditional college students are racking up 80 grand in debt, union apprentices are navigating complex waiting lists and strict aptitude tests to secure a massive financial head start. The application process is completely unforgiving. Miss a single paperwork deadline or fail the initial math test, and you will be sidelined for months before you can even try again. We are going to break down the exact step-by-step application process for the Tennessee electrical locals in plain English. Knowing exactly how this system works is your best lever for avoiding the common traps and getting your name to the very top of the waiting list. Because before you ever pick up a pair of wire strippers, mastering this bureaucracy is your first real test of patience and attention to detail. Your first hurdle is figuring out where to apply. Tennessee has training centers anchored in Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga. These centers are run by the JATC, the Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee. They act as the official training school for the local union. To even request an application, you must meet 3 strict legal minimums. You have to be at least 17 years old, hold a high school diploma or GED, and possess a valid driver's license. Then comes the academic requirement that stops many people in their tracks. You have to provide an official transcript proving you passed at least 1 full year of high school algebra. If you failed algebra or your transcript doesn't clearly show the credit, your application stops. You will have to pause, enroll in an approved online math course, and pass it before the local will even process your paperwork. Even if your grades are perfect, the physical act of applying is a test in itself, and the submission rules change wildly depending on which city you choose. Memphis, for example, strictly requires all applications to be submitted online. Nashville is the exact opposite. They require you to drop off your application in person and only between 1:30 and 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Show up at 3:15 and the door is locked. Then there are the payment traps. Nashville charges a $30 fee, but they explicitly ban cash or personal checks. If you don't bring a money order, cashier's check, or card, you are turned away. These training centers deal with thousands of applicants. These rigid hoops function as an early filter to eliminate candidates who struggle to follow strict instructions. Once your paperwork clears that filter, you are scheduled for the in-person aptitude test. This exam takes about 2.5 hours, split tightly between a 46-minute algebra section and a 51-minute reading comprehension section, and calculators are strictly forbidden. You are graded on a scale from 1 to 9, and you have to score at least a 4 just to qualify for the interview phase. Fall short of that 4 and the system locks you out. You trigger a mandatory 90-day waiting period before you are allowed to retake the exam. 3 months is a massive delay when you are trying to launch a career. Treating this test like a casual quiz is a very expensive mistake, making upfront preparation absolutely critical. The committee uses this exam to prove you have the baseline logic required to safely calculate electrical loads and read dense technical blueprints out in the field. Clear the test, and you arrive at the final hurdle, a 15 to 20-minute oral interview facing a panel of union representatives and contractors. They evaluate your past work, how you handle conflicts, and your problem-solving skills. Based on your answers, they assign you a final score between 0 and 100. That number dictates exactly where you land on the eligibility list. A higher score drops you in above everyone else below that number, and your name stays active on this list for up to 2 years. But here is the hardest truth of the process. Passing the interview does not mean you have a job tomorrow. You only get the call when local contractors secure enough work to pull a new apprentice from the list. It is the ultimate test of endurance. You have to maintain your current job and pay your bills, all while staying ready to jump the moment the union calls. So what exactly happens when you finally get that call and make the cut? You are committing to a grueling 5-year schedule. You will work 8,000 paid hours on actual job sites during the day, followed by hundreds of hours of mandatory classroom instruction at night. This chart shows the Nashville local's official wage scale. You start at 60% of the journeyman rate, but this climbs steadily year after year. Beyond hourly pay, you also receive comprehensive health insurance and pension contributions, entirely separate from take-home pay. But there is a serious trade-off. You are required to sign a scholarship loan agreement, legally binding you to work for participating contractors within that local's jurisdiction for years after you graduate. If you decide to quit the trade or take a non-union job in the same field before that contract is up, you are on the hook to repay the massive monetary cost of your training out of your own pocket. The local is fronting the cost to turn you into a highly skilled professional. In exchange for that debt-free, six-figure education, they demand your loyalty and your sweat equity. When you view the entire journey from paperwork to graduation, the Tennessee IBEW Apprenticeship is the ultimate sweat equity investment. This path is tailor-made for driven career changers who are debt-averse and willing to trade heavy physical labor for a guaranteed career. On the flip side, if you need an immediate paycheck, refuse to refresh your math skills, or plan to move soon, strongly reconsider applying. If you are ready to commit, locate your nearest training center, map out their specific rules and application deadlines. Remember, that Algebra Aptitude test remains the single biggest controllable roadblock between you and that crucial committee interview. To make sure you don't get hit with a 90-day delay, check out the link in the description for electriciantutor.com and start your test prep today. The barrier to entry is undeniably high, but those who navigate this process earn a lucrative, lifelong skill that no one can take away.